Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in today's video, it's all about Havoc Demon Hunters. They got some buffs for PvP, and I had to give it a go to see if it's really enough to make this specialization have a comeback. And my initial immediate thoughts to it is that it is a lot of fun since the changes. I really liked playing the Fell-Scarred hero talents, gaining access to the Demon Surge ability when you get into Metamorphosis, which alters some of your baseline spells and then causes them to explode with green fell energy, which you'll see in moments like this when you use our eye beam and then our blade dance. We're just exploding green energy all around us and just decimating anybody that comes near us. It's a very satisfying feeling when you press the button, and it seems like our effective damage has gone up quite a bit as we're popping the hunt here, going into Metamorphosis. Really important to use our Sigil of Flame before our big burst, though, as it's going to increase our mastery with these hero talents, and we are just able to rampage down this shaman down to 0.5% health, swap over to the Rep Paladin, and quickly drop them as well. So this was just the first round of the lobby where I was kind of more focused in on my rotation, trying to make sure that I was doing as much effective damage as possible. And you can see the breakdown in details that Demon Surge is a huge contribution to your damage, and it is incredibly important that you're using Sigil of Flame before you use your eye beam, before you activate all of these abilities and explosions, so that you get a massive increase in mastery. Now, it's still bringing the same type of gameplay that it has historically on Demon Hunter, with all of the flips, all of the jumps, all of the high mobility, all of the really great crowd control abilities as well that don't DR each other, like Imprison, Fear, and Stun, which you can chain for massive CC chains, as well as the Shadow Side Eyes to be able to pop enemies out of stealth. So we're starting our ramp here. We got our Sigil of Flame down. We'll use our eye beam boosted by the mastery, and then we'll start proccing these fell surges with our Essence Break to try and tear into this elemental shaman. It has just a really good flow in terms of the rotation, but these guys are really pressuring us, so it's time to use some of that utility that I just talked about. Double stun comes through. We're getting pretty low here from the cooldowns of the rogue, and I'm really considering some defensives as my blur has just faded, and we have a lot of options, but Bless Protection from my paladin should be more than enough, and the correct option in this exchange with the Assassination Rogue's Death Mark committed to me. We're going to go for a stun onto the Mistweaver into a Fear. Really like that crowd control chain, and we're just hammering. Look at these Demon Surges, man. As soon as you pop Metamorphosis, you got that Sigil of Flame down, bro. You just start cracking, just tearing into the target. If I had Essence Break there, it would have been absolutely devastating. We can use the Hunt, one of my favorite abilities that came in Shadowlands. It's got its tooltip updated, a little bit of an animation change to be more focused around green fell energy in some recent patches, but not really too big of a difference between it. But I love how it feels. You just feel you're playing a Dragon Ball Z character flying through the air and just able to connect to a target and smash it. We got our Essence Break here. Typically you want to use Essence Break when you're in Metamorphosis. I got a bit impatient, and then I end up getting rooted with it, so my cooldowns ended up getting desynced here, and it's really important to try and line up your eye beam with your Sigil Flame and with your Essence Break. And this was, again, one of my first lobbies playing Demon Hunter, so I'm probably going to be making some mistakes, but that is one thing that I would recommend as an improvement for your rotation, because when you chain those three together, that's when you really start getting like tearing in amounts of burst damage. Here, I'm also playing Rain from Above, which is a super fun ability if you just want to do a lot of damage with one keybind. You can fly up into the air to avoid safety, avoid conflict from melee attackers, and just farm damage, because it actually hits really hard when you're up in the sky. So it's like a 2-for-1 special there if you're looking for something to get like a little bit of guaranteed damage. I do think the Rain from Above can have a position, especially at more casual ratings. I think I was able to get 1900 in this first day session playing the specialization, which was this lobby in particular. Here, we've lined up our eye beam with our Essence Break, and we've forced both major cooldowns. We got Wall and Cloak of Shadows, and this is why I think 100% you need to be syncing up eye beam and Essence Break. They're the same cooldowns. We can see them, at 28 seconds right now. Then we imprison the monk who has no trinket. We're going after the rogue who's critically low health and looking to finish him off here with a Fell Blade to reconnect with Immolation Ore up, and we're just cracking down with stuns. He's barely holding on, but he goes down to the Rep Paladin's pressure. We're able to take a round 2 victory. So for me personally, the buffs, how substantial are they? I think they're kind of very moderate. I think mostly playing Fell-Scarred is going to be a huge contribution to your damage. I am wondering if they should shift some of the damage out of Fell Surge and into more of your baseline abilities, because as it stands right now, it's like a huge portion of your damage, like an overwhelming amount of your damage. If you don't have it, it's kind of like you're not going to be doing a lot. So out of that first kind of like I-beam window into metamorphosis window, your damage starts to slow pretty significantly. You're going to kind of be waiting for that to come back, although it does have a very short cooldown now with the 2-minute cooldown metamorphosis. Here you get the shadow side eye, so it lets you see stealth targets. I could see that rogue trying to sneak in behind the ramp side, which is always really fun. I'm trying to get to him, pull him out with a throw glaive with the vengeful retreat to immune the sap. I'm trying to avoid getting garroted here, so I'm staying max range, stun the priest into a fear, set up for the I-beam with the sigil of flame before it, double fell eruption, big damage cracking through, and that rogue is cloaking right away. But I'm just going to swap to the Ret Paladin with essence break immediately afterwards, proc those fell surges, and start just cleaving them apart right now. And we're going to swap off the defensives of the Ret Paladin. Rogue has no cloak, even though the red is lower health. He's taking reduced damage with his wall active, so we'll wait till the wall falls. We'll pop the hunt. We're ramping up again. I think I aggro trinket out of this disarm. Oh no, I vengeful retreat out of it. There, nice little trick on Demon Hunter. If you disarm, you can vengeful retreat out if you hate CC. Sigil of Flame, we're back in metamorphosis. Look at all of those buttons lighting up, dude. Every time I press one of those that lights up, I just explode with fell energy and absolutely destroy anything around me. It's super fun. I will tell you right now, that right there alone makes it worth it to play a Demon Hunter in PvP when that situation and the stars align, you're able to get that combo off. We're going to use Imprison defensively here on the rogue. Try and help out our elemental shaman, as elemental shamans are going to struggle with rogues on them. So want to help him as the rogue has no trinket, as opposed to playing aggressively here because the priest is on DR for it. We'll drop down to darkness to aid our shaman as well in this position. So it's nice having some team utility. I will say that it's a very well-rounded specialization, and it's getting even more well-rounded since the buffs. Might need a few more at the highest level of play, but I would say at like beginning stages of play, I think it's really good. Like I had a lot of fun with this as a first-time Demon Hunter in the War Within, and I think that I could definitely make a run with it, and I'm probably going to on my stream, so make sure to follow that. It's in the description down below if you'd like to see the gameplay live. But I think it's a lot of fun. You've got a lot of cleave damage, you got a lot of utility. Here my essence break, it got misaligned with I-beam, and this is kind of one of the biggest mistakes I think that I'm seeing myself make, and likely a new Demon Hunter is going to be making as well. But this is what I love. I can basically be rogue mage priest by myself. I just stunned both DPS and I could stun the healer. So you've got all of this utility and all of this control that can set up conditions for your team to be able to pull victories off of. It has very satisfying animations, really powerful damage in certain windows of time, as long as you're syncing up I-beam and syncing up your essence break, which I got impatient here. I just sent the I-beam, and I mean, can you really blame me? Look how low this rogue is at this point. I really wanted to go for the kill, but definitely think syncing those up would be a bit better for me. I try and go for a fear. I love how you some crowd control. You also aim, so it's got that element of kind of like skill shotting to the class as well. It's incredibly well rounded, but you can see in some cases your damage it's more competitive, like we're keeping up with these other specializations. But outside of some very rare circumstances where you line up everything with your first meta, you're not really like top of the meter like you were in Dragonflight. But here we go, metamorphosis again, sigil of flame down, we're procking those fell surges, and look at the cleave, we're just absolutely rampaging, cracking the rogue, taking them out, sending them packing, and able to take the game. So you have very strong win conditions, especially in solo shuffle scenarios. Really good mobility. I love that you can eventually retreat out of disarms and like annoying crowd controls, and you have immunity effects as well, so you can outplay those situations. So if you're a person who hates getting crowd controlled, Demon Hunter has tools that if you can outplay your opponents correctly with them, you're going to be crowd controlled less, which is really rewarding and really fun to engage with as well. And like I said, as far as like the most competitive, it's probably not the best melee DPS in the game, but it's a lot better and it's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend Demon Hunter right now since the changes, especially with the build that I'm running, which I'll have linked in the description down below. I love these PvP talents. I think they're really fun. Maybe they're not the most optimal, but I really love Rain from Above. I think it can do a lot of damage. Here's Sigil Fire down. We're lining up our I-beam. Make sure we use Essence Break. This is a great opener. Now we can combo it together with those coupling fell surges and really start to force some cooldowns in the initial stages. And we're kind of baiting cooldowns with that first I-beam Essence Break so that we can then lead into the Metamorphosis, Hunt, and Sigil of Flame I-beams. And look at all those buttons glowing again. Every time we press one of those glowing buttons, we just explode with fell energy, and everybody's just like screaming at the amount of pressure that we're able to put out in kind of that initial stage of our cooldowns. And I think that's what's really scary. We can chain CC off the blind with an Imprison. So if you wear those, cross stun the shaman to hold them in place. It's a really big playmaker spec, with a ton of great animations. I love the utility as well. We have team cooldowns like darkness. So you're going to feel like you have more control over the outcome of a game or an engagement than on a lot of other classes. So like in this position, I could drop darkness if I don't trust my team to use cooldowns to survive, to try and make them more more stable. We can keep pressure up on the shaman. We force burrow. We can swap. It's got, you're not too hard committed to anything. You can just swap around, hit whatever you want. These fell surge procs when we eye beam, absolutely cracking this ret paladin, taking him down to about half health, reloading our energy with the fell blade, jumping over, stunning the healer. It's just super fun. Like, I think there's no doubt in my mind that Demon Hunter is a lot of fun. It's a tremendous opportunity to be able to play the specialization. We go for fear here. We get Will from the Priest, setting us up for crowd control into the future. We can keep our cleave going. Our metamorphosis is coming up in about 40 seconds. We got our eye beam in 10 seconds. I basically just stare glued to eye beam because that's when you really, you ramp up and you get the fell surges. Probably my favorite moment in the game is when you have eye beam or metamorphosis, and then you can line that up with the essence break, get a lot of damage. So we've also got purge. So I tried to purge the bop off here. Don't get it? I don't care. I can fly up in the air. I can hit you through the bop, bro. I can fell ant you through the bop. Unfortunately, while I'm in the air, though, my rogue is stuck on the ground. And yeah, so sometimes when you leave your teammates stuck on the ground, they don't make it out alive, sadly. But it's a lot of fun. Would definitely recommend it. I really enjoyed my time on it. I'm going to be exploring some other specializations as well. I dabbled a bit with Arms Warrior since it's buff, since like Overpower is hitting really hard. And I tried a bit of Destro Lock as well because it was getting some really big Chaos Bolts. So there's going to be more videos, more content coming out around those specializations, and as well as the news related to World of Warcraft as always. So thank you very much for tuning into the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.